Welcome to Who Knows. A woman's body was found on the highway, and the killer left everything behind: the phone, money, and gold. So it's clear that this wasn't a murder for robbery. The full story is that in 2021, on the highway near a wall in a remote area of India, with no lights or people around 8 a.m., a local resident noticed a strange-looking suitcase on the road. Being a longtime resident, he found it odd and went over to check it out. When he tried to pick it up, he found it extremely heavy. Initially, he assumed it must have fallen off a vehicle during the night. Curiosity led him to open the suitcase, and inside, he found the body of a woman. Shocked, he closed it and called the police immediately. Locals gathered around, wondering whose body was inside. They worried it might be someone from their area. Shortly after, police arrived along with a forensic team. They opened the suitcase, found the woman's phone, gold, money, and even official documents. From the ID, they learned her name was Ramana, and she lived far away. She had a severe head injury, indicating the death occurred recently. After thoroughly examining the scene and sending the body for an autopsy to determine the time and cause of death, they also sent her mobile phone to a technical team to unlock it. The team was able to crack the passcode and found several missed calls, one of which was from a contact named Aryan. The police called this number, and Aryan confirmed that the phone belonged to his wife, who went missing the previous afternoon at 2 p.m. He was called in for questioning. When he arrived, he identified his wife's belongings and learned of her death. He seemed genuinely shocked. During the investigation, the technical team found no suspicious messages or threats on Ramana's phone, except for one unsaved number, which was the last to call her. It was determined that she had a call with this number at 3:30 p.m. And after that, her husband Aryan repeatedly tried to call her, starting from around 5 p.m. until much later. Investigators discovered that the unsaved number made 3 calls to Ramana and then was disconnected, which raised suspicion. When the police showed Aryan the number, he claimed he didn't recognize it. He also said he had no enemies, and his wife had a good relationship with others, though their circle was small. However, the police sensed something strange in Aryan's behavior, suspecting he was somehow connected to the case. Days later, an informant reported that Ramana had only one close friend named Zelda, who also worked in house cleaning. Their bond was more like family than friendship. Zelda was called in for questioning. She was a 31-year-old widow whose husband, Baha, had died a year prior. She confirmed that she and Ramana were like sisters, and Ramana was very close to her. When Aryan was questioned about his relationship with Zelda, he appeared visibly nervous. Police felt the truth might be connected to this relationship. Eventually, under pressure, Aryan confessed everything, revealing a hidden story behind his wife's death. The story dated back 6 years to 2015, when Ramana and Zelda met through work and became close friends. Their friendship quickly turned into a family-like bond. Zelda was married to Baha, who was 57 years old, while Ramana was married to Aryan, who was 41. Their families became close, sharing meals and vacations together. But then Zelda grew attracted to Aryan, and he too found himself drawn to her. Soon, they began an affair, betraying both Baha and Ramana, who were unaware of the affair. After some time, Aryan expressed a desire to marry Zelda, and together, they plotted to kill Baha to make it look like a natural death. In 2020, both of them decided to execute their plan. Aryan obtained something called grain pills and gave them to Zelda, who mixed them into her husband Saleh's tea. Because Saleh had heart issues and was already elderly, he couldn't handle it and died immediately. There was no suspicion of foul play, and Zelda was able to get his family to support her through every step, securing the burial permit and organizing her husband's funeral. At this point, Zelda became a widow, visibly grieving the loss of her husband. During this time, Ramana was by Zelda's side at every step, worried about her friend's well-being after her husband's death, completely unaware that Zelda and her husband Arian were the ones behind it. 3 months passed since her husband's death, and Zelda then asked Arian to marry her, even if it was just a secret marriage. However, she noticed Arian kept avoiding her with various excuses. This continued for an entire year, until 2021, when Zelda realized Arian had been leading her on and had no intention of marrying her. At this point, she decided to seek revenge. Zelda resolved that just as her husband died, so should Arian's wife. Her friendship with Ramana no longer mattered. Ramana remained unaware and treated Zelda like a sister, right until the end. Zelda devised a plan. She got a new phone number, called Ramana with a disguised voice, and told her that she got her number from a mutual client, requesting her help in cleaning an apartment. They agreed on a fee, and Zelda instructed her to meet at a specific location on the highway, promising to provide directions from there. Ramana agreed, but before leaving, she informed Arian, her husband, not knowing she was going to meet Zelda. Zelda rented a furnished apartment, prepared a black abaya, a scarf, and a suitcase, setting everything up so the plan could unfold seamlessly. When Ramana arrived, Zelda directed her to the address, disguised herself in the scarf, and opened the door, making it hard for Ramana to recognize her. As soon as Ramana entered, Zelda began striking her on the head repeatedly with a metal object until she died. Zelda then dragged Ramana's body to the bathroom, cleaned up the apartment, put Ramana's body in the suitcase, and waited about 5 hours, observing the street to make sure things were quiet. When she felt it was safe, she took the suitcase down to the highway and left it there, departing once she was sure no one was around. Arian didn't know what had happened, but he had suspected from the start that Zelda was involved. He found it hard to believe that she was capable of this. After confessions, both Zelda and Arian were tried for the murder of her husband and Ramana. In the end, both were sentenced to death, bringing justice for her husband after a year, and for Ramana a month after her death. Don't let people into your personal life if you don't feel comfortable, and there are many solutions if you're unhappy at home, none of which involve crime. May God have mercy on both of them. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell.